Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. So, Doc, I guess we should probably start with the super important story of the last few days, and that's the terrible attacks that happened in Paris, France, on the night of November 13th. I guess it would have been they're 12 hours ahead of us, so we were catching wind of this happening the morning of Friday morning, but it was happening earlier that night in Paris, and I think the last thing that I saw confirmed 128 people dead, upwards of about 300 people wounded, and just hundreds and thousands of dollars in damage. There were seven. They've identified 7 men who came in with suicide vests and automatic weapons and did all kinds of damage, and an 8th guy that they're chasing back to Brussels, I think, or they made some arrests in Brussels from some folks that gave some support, and this it was a shocking thing. It was a horrifying thing. We initially, I don't think anybody really knew how to react to this just immense tragedy. And the thing that was the first thing that I thought when this happened was ISIS is stretching out.
Yes,
and which was a surprise. We had been told by every expert that was identifying this, and even I think that I had made the comment to Rabbi Kaufman once, one of the times he was on, where I had said the things that I had read, that ISIS is more concerned with gaining territory and setting up the caliphate and fighting the people at home. And of course, in his smarty pants way, he gave me the nuanced, accurate version of that. But basically, that's been the consensus, that they're more interested in holding territory and setting up an actual functioning state, and then fighting the rest of the world and going on from there. And now we're seeing them sort of act more like a traditional Al-Qaeda style terrorist network that's able to get a few guys into a major Western city that apparently, and you disagree with me on this, but apparently I still haven't seen anything where the bomb on the Russian airliner was there. They claimed it, but nothing definitively has proven that. But apparently we're able to get a bomb on a Russian airliner and destroy that. Yeah. Attack Kenya back in April. Yeah. Beirut just days before the Paris bombing.
And
reaching out.
Well, 3 different things about what you said. One, I don't see anybody putting up a Kenyan flag. These people are dealing with these terrorists over there just as well as France is. With the added benefit of, I don't think Kenya is up there in Syria bombing the heck out of them. Number one. Number 2, I just want to point out some hypocrisy. If you're not upset about ISIS bombing everybody around them, because keep in mind, I believe they are the most equal opportunity terrorist group out there.
We're all upset about it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The second thing about the Russian airliner, they have detained, the Egyptian people have detained 2 baggage handlers.
Sure.
One of which was seen giving the other one a suitcase that hadn't been checked onto the plane. The Russians have finally admitted it was a bomb. Right. That did bring it down. Western intelligences said, yeah, that's a bomb, brought it down. The French and I think it's the Italians. I can't remember. But the French and the UK and the US have all said it was a bomb, bringing it down. So everybody's in agreement that that's what happened. The other thing is ISIS has never claimed credit for an attack it did not do. So, you have all these different factors going on. You have all these Syrians fleeing a war-torn Syria. Mm-hmm. And you can blame, because this is what I love hearing from the left. Oh, I blame Bush. Terrific. That's absolutely awesome. But it wasn't Bush who insisted on getting Assad out of power. It's not Bush who's been droning the bejesus out of everybody. It's not Bush who, when he had an opportunity to act early in the Arab Spring, decided to wait.
This is okay.
Right, and that's the truth. Now, I'm not saying that Obama's only to blame. I'm just saying everybody's blaming Bush for this.
Nobody's blaming Bush for this. Nobody. Nobody.
Obama was just on there talking about, well, if it wasn't for Bush.
Well, there are a couple of things that, and this is what got me fired up on Saturday when I was dealing with this stuff. This has got me fired up all week. If you want to talk about hypocrisy, if you want to talk about what we haven't done properly since the beginning of this thing, 2012, President Obama comes out and talks about the red line with Assad. 2013, he starts getting criticism because he didn't go after Assad harder from guys like John McCain, who then turned around and refused to support the authorization for use of military force against the Assad regime that was drafted, presented to the Senate. Nobody would buy into it. The House of Representatives said, hey, don't bring that over here. You're not going to get it passed. Uniform Republican opposition to it. Ted Cruz actually said at the time, signing this authorization will turn us into Al-Qaeda's Air Force, opposing the president. He comes back in 2015 with a new AUMF to go after ISIS. We have been going after ISIS with up to 8,000 airstrikes since last August, with probably boots with troops in there to some degree that we are expanding in October 30th. No debate in Congress, no authorization from Congress, even though those same Republicans that blocked him from doing it would call him a tyrant if he just went in and did it himself, which he says that he thinks he can do. I disagree with him on that. He needs congressional authority to do this. The Republicans don't want to have anything of it because they don't want the political fallout on their hands. Nobody wants broad political consensus because no one wants to deal with the eventual disaster that an engaged military, basically a new Iraq, will give them if we go in full force. Like people now are turning around and saying, oh, but if he had gone in full force at the very beginning, we could have stopped all this dead. He talked about it. The Republicans denied any support for that. The Republicans have blocked that, have refused to even vote on it at every opportunity. Then for them to turn around and say, oh, the president's weak, not showing effective leadership, praising the Paris airstrikes, which were among the most recent, but certainly not the most numerous since we've been doing this for over a year, is hypocrisy at the greatest level. Hypocrisy at the most clear level.
So you don't think the 6 months where the Iranian people were rising up against Iran during the beginning of the Arab Spring, where
what does that have to do with anything?
Well, because it spread across the Middle East. That's the part of the problem.
The Republicans praised the Arab Spring just like the Democrats did.
But Obama had a chance to do something and didn't support these people.
We did support them. We did.
How did we support them? We went, hey, good luck. Hey. We didn't give them anything. We didn't support him.
You're talking about giving them weapons?
He's dropping $500 million on these supposed moderate Muslims that nobody can apparently find in Syria.
Oh, now
we're going to drop another $500 million?
Now you're going to back up.
We're going to be back right after this break. There's going to be a couple of points that Lefty and I are actually going to agree on, but the rest of the time he's wrong because it is Democratic ineptitude at its finest.
Republican hypocrisy.
And
you don't want to take credit for it. You don't want to take credit for it.
We got to go to a break. We'll be back right after this.